Welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. This next one that I'm going to show you is the Ruy Lopez. Now this cotton picker has been around for 500 years, and you will run into it in your tournament play. You will run into it into chess club. You will run into it on online chess, etc. This thing is still being played. There are still new lines and variations being found. It's a king-pawn opening, and black will answer with the king-pawn just like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to share with you the basic idea of the Ruy Lopez in this video, and then I'm going to show you 5, maybe 6 games where white just absolutely beats black, and then I found 5 or 6 other games where black absolutely beats white, and it's fun to see the various. This will give you the flavor. I can't possibly exhaust this opening. There's simply no way. There have been hundreds of thousands of games of the Ruy Lopez played. Really, truly. You can't live long enough to play through every game that the Ruy Lopez has ever been played if you was to make a move every 1 second. You can't live that long. There's that many games been played. White pulls out his king pawn, black answers with the king pawn. It's a center argument. He pulls out his king knight to f3. You notice he's hitting black's pawn. And he's hitting up into here, he's hitting over here and over here. So he's got this umbrella sweep on this edge and on the center. Now, and you've probably all already seen this, I'm just going to say this because it'll make my video more instructive. Black wants to defend the pawn. Okay? Don't defend the pawn that way. No. You don't want to make pawn moves like this in the opening. This is way too passive when there's such a better move to make. It just exposes your king. That is not the way to defend that pawn. The way black responds to supporting this pawn is with the queen knight. Now you can see he's supporting the pawn, and he's coming into here, and he's coming into here, so there's a contested square, and then black is also hitting over into here. So they're arguing about this pawn. Now, in the Ruy Lopez, the opening favors white. White has the initiative, he has the offense. Pretty much throughout the whole game, black needs to show that he's a really, really good defender. And this will test your mettle for defense. However, that's not to mean that the opening is not bad for black. It's not bad for black. It's dynamic. You have a trillion different tactics you can work through, etc. Now, instead of pulling up another central pawn at this point, white pulls his bishop over here to b5 to somewhat pin the knight. This is standard, typical stuff. He's going to try to keep that knight from having influence over this pawn so that when his knight takes that pawn, this knight can't respond because the bishop's here. And you can see the bishop's coming toward the king. Okay, this is the theory. If you're black, you don't have to sweat it at this point. A typical, really, truly, and this opening kind of, well, it doesn't force you as black, but as black, if you want to present the most logical, reasonable, and powerful defense, you really have to open it up this way, more or less, for the first several moves. Otherwise, there's lots of problems. And I'll show you some traps in the Ruy Lopez also. Some really fun traps that are really interesting. But this is the general classical Ruy Lopez. He pulls his pawn and he asks the bishop, are you going to take that knight or not? Usually, he'll drop back. You don't want to take the knight. Yes, I know there's grandmasters and masters and other people who have taken a knight. They just run into trouble at this early stage. So just drop your bishop back. You see how this is working? Now, the key to the Ruy is to develop. And I mean it, really, truly. So, he has made it possible, through his bishop and knight, white is able to castle, and you really should castle. Now, black is not yet capable of, oh, wait a minute. Duh, I'm getting ahead of myself. You can't make 2 moves in a row as white. Don't cheat. Develop. Don't worry about that bishop right now. You've chased him off of this angle down to here. Yes, he's still putting indirect pressure. Now see, it's interesting because by hitting this, he's putting indirect pressure on this pawn, right? By hitting this knight. Don't sweat it. Continue your development. Bring your other knight out. Really seriously. Or, if you want to, instead of the knight move, bring your bishop up. And in the opening, since the initiative really does favor white in this opening. So as black, there are aggressive ways to address this opening. I'll show you those in the game. Right now I'm just going to show you the simple, basic opening philosophy so that you can practice both as white and black, right? So either one of these next moves is fine. I personally like to bring my knight out next, for what it's worth. And now, hey, you can quit cheating. It is your turn legitimately. And then white wants to castle. Now, black wants to castle too. The interesting thing about this is it's a real dynamic fight for the center, depending on whether you open it or close it. But it's a really good dynamic fight. If you open the center, you really do want to be castled, both of you. And castling on the king side is fine. It takes a lot of work for black to get castled for the queen side. You are still at least 3, maybe 4 moves away. And by then, white could be coming at you. So just castle king side at this point, okay? I'm keeping it very basic simple. I promise. Just giving you the idea. Now, because of the nature of the Ruy Lopez, what a dork I am. My memory card got full again. I'm making too many chess videos too often. You guys are lucky. I love you all. And this chess game, man. Anyway, what was I lying about? Because of the nature of this opening, black is really honestly trying to just do this simple logical, right? And so it's best as beginners and intermediates. You can explore all the various nuances and variations to your heart's content later. For now, just follow this. Just get used to it, right? Because there's plenty of play in the classical, regular Ruy Lopez. I promise, there's tons and tons of play. White, by its nature, is going to come to the king side for an attack. Black, by his nature, is going to play on the queen side. And both white and black are aware of that. So if you like the king side attack, the Ruy Lopez is your opening. And I love the king side attack, so I love the Ruy Lopez, right? The nature of white's opening is such that after white castles, he's pulled his knight out, he's pulled his bishop out. After you castle as white, you want to immediately put your rook over on the e-file. Now, it's not an open file yet. And that's kind of a secondary bonus. I'll show you the further philosophy of the Ruy Lopez real quick, just to show you. The reason, well, hang on, I'll get to that. You pull your rook out, and then black gets to castle. Woohoo! Okay, we're both castled. We are both castled. Okay, now at this point, oh, I did this backwards too. Well, I didn't do it backward. Hold on. I lied. Before black castles, well, you can castle, but it's better to go ahead and push that bishop back further before you castle. That's correct. And then, of course, the bishop comes down to here. Woohoo! Neener, 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 you can't catch me. Don't worry about that. All you're doing is eliminating the process whereby you as black can continue defending your pawn and hitting this center square, because I promise this square is going to be contested real hot here shortly, right? So now, and it's not a waste of pawn moves to chase that bishop back. Now that you've chased him back, then you can castle. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Now, once he castles, and this is where the variations really start coming into play, hard, fast, and furious. What I'm going to show you is just one way. And there isn't a correct way and an incorrect way. There's just a lot of variations, and people have a lot of different tastes. Now, you push him back. Black is castled. Now, white, as a general rule, wants to push the c-pawn 1. Now this accomplishes a couple of things. Here's what you're looking for. Number 1, your knight is coming over to here and here. Your pawn pushing the c-pawn also hits this square. So now you've got 2 pieces contacting that square. His pawn automatically touches this square, and now that his knight isn't being pressured by the bishop, his knight is also touching that square. So can you tell which square we're going to fight for? I'll give you a hint. This one ain't it! No! A3 is the wrong answer, cowboy. You see how that works? Everyone seems to be focusing on this square, right? Okay, so pushing the c-pawn up helps you have a little bit more control of that square. It also provides an escape hatch for your bishop to come down to here. And you say, why on earth would I want to tuck my bishop down here behind this pawn that's blocked when he's got such a fabulous diagonal right at the king? And man, do I have some beautiful chess games by Mikhail Tal where he shows this bishop over on it. I got some great games for you. However, for now, just recognize that one trick Black has, and again it might be a matter of taste, really. One trick Black has is to pull his knight to here and threaten to take that bishop. To trade this silly knight for that mighty bishop just doesn't jive. So this is why else you want to push this c-pawn up, right? Because if Black gets a wild nose up his hair, or hair up his nose, and he starts trying to make attacks over here, you can simply drop down and you're fine. Okay? Just so you're aware of that. That's important. Another nice touch that the C prepares for is for you to push the D pawn to that golden square. Now I know it's being contested. Yes, it is. Make no mistake about it. Black isn't going to give you that square for free. And if you are playing against white and he starts to really fight for that square, kick his butt back, man. You fight for that square also. As a general rule. You're not going to give white anything. You don't have to be intimidated by white, even though you recognize as a general rule, Black's going to be on the defensive this whole game. White has the initiative. It's up to Black to equalize and gain the initiative and win. It's up to Black to show I'm a better defender than white is an attacker. In a real general sense. So when you push this here, Black doesn't immediately chase the bishop though. I mean, look, you're in no hurry. You want to build up your development. You want to involve as many of your pieces as you can. Yeah, you're really chomping at the bit to go get him, go get him, go get him. Just hold on, cowboy. Relax. D6 is a good move. Now look. Just look. You give your king pawn excellent support. That's not bad. You have help with the knight. That's really good. Seriously. So this is a really excellent, and you're saying, wait a minute, dude. You got a pawn move, a pawn move, a pawn move, a pawn move. True. You know, the classical hyper-modern stuff said, 1 or 2 pawn moves in the beginning, not more. Now that was Nimzovich. And I'll tell you what, the state of chess from 1900 to 1940 was fine with one, maybe two pawn moves in the center. But look, there is no single one-piece attack like really ridiculous early beginning chess enthusiasts do. We've all done it. Come on, fess up. Every now and then we slip back into that mode, don't we? So you don't have to worry about an attack as such. What we want to do, because of the nature of this opening, is we want all of our pieces on black to be as solidly established and connected with each other as well as possible. Right? So you're not in a hurry to start throwing attacks. Build yourself up. And same with white, more or less. And this is conservative, I understand. Believe me, there's thousands of variations. I'm showing you just but one, I promise. And it's not necessarily wrong, it's just a variation to get you going on it. So, pull the pawn up. Now this is the signal for white to really go. Bang! Right up on the queen 4, the d4. Just do it. Do it and do it now. That's fine. Now you are declaring your intention. You're saying, I want the center. Not only do I want your measly pawn that you think is so well protected, but I want my square too. Black doesn't have to worry. Now, as black, you can do this. Ta-da! Remember, as a general rule, the philosophy, white is going to come up here to the king side. Either through the center and over to the king or up around this way. Black is going to come around the queen side. So it's okay if you chase that bishop away. And really sincerely, 9 out of 10 really good chess players will certainly drop the bishop out of the way at this point. Yes, yes, yes. True. So, now, as a player of the black pieces, you don't have to let the white initiate his king side before you act with your queen side. I mean, yeah, don't get all spooked and say, oh man, he's going to come with my king, he's going to come with my king, man. I have to cram everything over here and protect my king. Yeah, you got to keep an eye on your king. But don't overdo it. Look, you have a golden opportunity to get the real jump on this with the next move. Seriously. One of Mikhail Tal's games, you're just going to laugh yourself silly how powerfully he does this. That's a great move. And you're saying, dude, it's too many pawn moves. No, it's not. Wait till you see the game that Tal played. Are you going to accuse him of making too many pawn moves? You know, the world champion, one of the greatest tacticians of them all. Hey man, I have Ruy Lopez game where Tal really romps as white, and then I have another really cool Ruy Lopez where Tal romps as black. He knew them both sides, man. He was good. When he played black, yeah, no joke, he did that. And then white has an option. Okay, now look, let's just step by step here. Black has done remarkably well in not only defending his pawn, but of development, more or less, right? Yes, it's a lot of pawn moves, but look at the space. Again, an imbalance, as Jeremy Simon has said. Look at the space on the queen side. He has more maneuverability over here, okay? So, I mean, while you may have a minor defect or a major defect in one part of your game, look at the positives of your position. That's a real good positive. I mean, you can really keep marching those pawns down there, you know? So space, you're annexing territory. This is good. So black hasn't done so bad here. Tal will show you why this is real good when I get to his game. You'll love that. On the other hand, white has a really solid position too. And he's got some potential and chances here to develop his attack that both players subconsciously know, okay, oh, you're playing the white pieces, well, you're going to attack me, so I'm going to defend. unless my name was Tal, and then Tal just attacked anyway, and he just beat the snot right out of you. However, none of us are Tal. Look, the bishop to e3. Now, look at that move. Nice. It really supports the pawn. See, now, hey, as white, see, you pushed your pawn. You're announcing, you're saying, hey, I am tough enough. I can take you, man. And black says, really? Well, I've got one guy. I've got two guys. I'm going to bring in a third guy and maybe even a fourth guy. And I'm going to show you you ain't half so bad. So with white bringing his bishop out, developing a piece, controlling the center, and giving his pawn support. That's nice. That's not bad. That's always a good move, right? And then, and again, this is just one variation, I promise. There's thousands of different ways and things you can do about this. If I remember right in the Tal game, I've almost got it memorized, I've played it so many times, he does bring out his queen to the c7. And there are variations, and you'll read these in the books as you get more and more adept at knowing the openings. There are variations who say, oh, what a stupid move. That is a weakness. Now white can really capitalize. Yada, yada, yada. Yes, if you understand all the nuances of the variation. But with the pawns like this, this is good. Because the piece is backing the pawns, and the pawns are coming at you. So, you know, people say, oh, no, never put your queen in front of your bishop like that in the Ruy Lopez. That's a complete mistake. No, this is a variation, and if you have the right setup with the knight here in the pawns, then it's really strong. So, just a possibility, right? So now you can see the real contest for the center. The development's coming along fine. No one's really starting to... You notice they're leaving the tension. This is sometimes we amateurs and some of us intermediate players we really mess up on. We think, man, the second there's a piece that's connecting to a piece, or the second you can take a piece, pow, you gotta take it right now. Not necessarily. No, that's not even true. It's, oh, you notice they've both survived so far, and these pawns have been in contact for a while, right? So it's not a crisis if you, just because he approaches you and challenges you, doesn't mean you immediately have to take it. What you want to do is count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath, and then look at it. Make sure there's no trap. Make sure there's no subtle tactic. That if you immediately hurry up and take that, then you're going to lose a power, see? It's okay to leave tension in the center like that. And you can see it's building, huh? Yeah, this is getting pretty tough. White has an interesting way of releasing the tension. If the knight stays here, then white will push that pawn, and all of a sudden the case becomes closed. In this instance, it's not closed. He has brought his queen out to back up his pawns. And now they're really, truly, from here on out, man, there's just scads and scads of variations. Really seriously. I mean, you can even begin taking the pawns if you want. You can move your queen up and connect with your rook to come up into here to fight the king side if you want. You can bring your knight over to here to come hitting up into here. Now see, if you was to pull your knight here, the nice thing about that is this gives you the square here and here so that you can push this pawn further to meet black on his queen side, right? So that's not a bad move either. In fact, that's a pretty good, strong, centralizing, developing move as far as that goes. So you see what I mean when I say, oh, this is the other thing I wanted to show you. Yeah. Like Brad Pitt did in the 12 Monkeys. You gotta focus. Gotta focus. Black is aware that white wants to come around here to the king. The nature of the way the bishops point, and the nature of the queen pointing. This is one reason why white is going, after he castles, he's going to push this rook over here, on the E file. And no, it's not open yet. Don't sweat it. That's not a big deal. It's not about the open file at this juncture in the game. But it is about vacating the F square. You'll want that square. And here's why. With the Ruy Lopez knight move, and this is critically important, I'm just going to show you where later, as you play the game, where the knight will go. This isn't really a variation. I just want to show you the principle here. Who did I move last? I moved the knight here, didn't I? Okay, so it's black's move. So let's say black does something like this. And I'm just going fast willy-nilly just to show you the knight of the Ruy Lopez, the movement. The reason you want to vacate this square is because now this knight comes to here. And then let's say black does something like this. And that is one of black's moves that he does want to do. Man, when black can get that far on the queen side, he's motating, he's moving. Now, just to show you the principle of the knight movement, you're not going to want to ignore this with your bishop. Usually, they'll drop the bishop. Let's drop the bishop down. Usually, as a general rule, they'll either drop the bishop down or else, because the knight's attacking it, right? Or else they'll put him up here to g5 and put it on this knight. Actually, that's a stronger move. Let's put him up there just for kicks and giggles. Okay, so he comes and threatens the bishop. The bishop comes up to here, and let's say I'm just showing you the knight movement here, just as a general principle. Oh, well, heck. Let's say this bishop comes to here. Let's put a battle into it, shall we? So the bishop comes up here to g4 and pins this knight to the queen, okay? Okay, we've gone through that. Now, this knight started here, he came to here. And you've vacated it, now he comes to here. Now, the knight comes up to g3. And this is the knight transfer of the Ruy Lopez. And you don't have to do it in just, you don't have to do it in 3 all-at-once moves. You don't have to just go, oh boy, now I got to move my knight. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. No, not necessarily. What you want to do through time, however, is get this knight up here because you're preparing for a kingside. That makes sense? What you have to watch out for is in the process of moving so many knight moves, you gotta watch this kingside movement of black. Because, I mean, he's got wow. He's got a knight down into here. I mean, even at this point, he's got a knight move here, and he starts picking off your queen side, right? So in the process of getting your knight over to the king side, don't neglect your queen side. And the grandmasters are experts par excellence of playing both sides at the same time and still getting their objective. Black knows white's going to go here and there. White knows black is going to guard his king, and then he's going to come over here. That's just an automatic with the Ruy Lopez, more or less, in the vast majority of cases. So anyway, that's the idea with the Ruy Lopez. I want to just give you a general idea, a general overview, show you just mainly the main variation of it, the philosophy behind it, the squares you're going to be fighting, and you can see that would be a tense chess game, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a fun one to play? So anyway, there's your chess video. My next several videos, I think I can do about 5 of the Ruy Lopez in white winning, and then 5 with the Ruy Lopez black. I think I'll do a white win and then a black win, and then a white win and then a black win. I'll alternate them. That way you can get the feel for what to do and not to do, and I'll give my commentary on the games, whether you pick the black or the white ones. So anyway, thanks for watching my chess videos. They are a ball to make. We're making progress together, and we're having fun. That's the whole idea. We are having fun. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next chess videos. Next time, if you were wise, if you would look moves ahead, a few moves ahead, you would cook yourself a bowl of popcorn, and then let me entertain you with a chess video. Yeah. Come on, think ahead. Oh dear.